What's up, everyone? All right, well, here we are finishing the 11th consecutive green day. Definitely a hot streak here. Over the last 14 days, I've made over $65,000 trading 1 hour a day. Today, another $6,600 on one stock, OPGN. Now, the disappointing thing today is I had my first loss of the month. I had 2 winners and 1 loser. So far this month, I've taken a total of 4 trades, and I had 1 winner yesterday, 1 trade, 1 winner. Now, as I think about it, I'm trying to remember if I only took that 1 trade, but I think I only did. I think it was just 1 trade yesterday. So that puts me at 4 trades on the month, 3 winners, 75% accuracy, and nearly $10,000 of profit. We are moving in the right direction, building that cushion for the month of September. So I'm in the driver's seat for the rest of the month, and it's just coasting from here. Continuing to strive for that $2,000 daily goal. And when I have some days that I see an opportunity, I'm gonna feel like I've got a little bit of a cushion. I can take the risk for that potential big winner. All right, so hope you guys are enjoying these recaps. As always, questions, comments, leave them below, and I'll see you all first thing tomorrow morning, live streaming 9:15, the pre-market watch list. All right, everyone, so we're gonna break down the trades from today. I'm gonna finish here my 11th consecutive green day, up $6,656.18, which is awesome. That puts me up about $9,000 on the week here, which, you know, is terrific because this is only Wednesday and the markets were closed on Monday. So it's a 2 days into the week. I'm already up $9,000, close to 10 grand actually. And this puts me in great shape, you know, as I make my way towards the weekly goal. Weekly goal is 10,000, monthly goal is 40 grand, and this is a good start. You know, one of the other things that's, of course, really nice is being able to start to build a cushion early in the month, because then it puts me just, you know, it puts me in the driver's seat for the rest of the month. If I see an opportunity to be aggressive on something, I'll feel like I can afford to take it. If it ends up being a winner, it's just gonna put me in better shape. You know, if I do have a few back-to-back losses, I'm gonna have to slow down and adjust, but at least at this point, I'm in a position of strength, whereas last month at this time, I was already in the red. So the one stock that I traded today was OPGN. Now, this was straight off the watch list, but I wasn't totally sure how I was gonna trade it because by the time the bell was ringing, the pre-market chart was a little bit messed up. So let's look at this at 9:25 a.m. So 5 minutes before the bell was ringing. This was gapping up 57%, 878,000 share float, 569,000 shares of pre-market volume, and a price of just over $10 at 10.25. So this was the only thing about it that I was like, it's a little high. The headline I was also a little skeptical on, not this one, but this one, entering into a definitive agreement, and you can see that, let's see, pursuant to the implementation agreement, the business of the seller and the business of the company will be combined by the purchaser's acquisition of all the issued and outstanding capital stock. So anytime you have these acquisitions and mergers and these types of catalysts, it can be a little bit confusing what that really means. You know, what is the actual dollar figure that's tied to it? And that wasn't totally clear to me and probably to other traders and investors who have been actively trading this stock. And that's why it hasn't been trading, just pinned at one price. So as we were getting ready for the bell to ring, unfortunately, it was breaking below the VWAP. It was selling off a little bit. The other stock that I was watching this morning was TOPS, TOPS, and I could have taken a trade on this one on a red to green move on the 5-minute chart. But when this happened, I was really still focusing on OPGN and starting to kind of wind down a little bit because I'd had a couple of really great trades. So I decided to not take that trade. And actually today I have, let's see, 3 trades, 2 winners and 1 loser. And we'll break down each of those trades, and those are all on OPGN. All right, so OPGN, let's go back here to the open. So this is the open. And as you can see, I'll pull these off. The bell rings and we start with two red doji candles back to back. You've got a red doji right here and another one right here. And then all of a sudden it rips up. Let's look at the 10-second chart to dive in a little bit deeper on how this pattern was really unfolding. So I'm going to go back to 10-second chart. And here we go. All right, so the bell rings and it immediately starts surging up. And I said, you know, I'm not feeling comfortable about jumping into this. I think a red to green move is going to be a safer setup. So a red to green move where it pulls back, you know, and then surges back up. So I was like, I just think that's going to be better. I'm a little nervous about jumping into it. So on this stock being above $10, I knew the risk was going to be higher. So in the first 10 seconds, it surges up to 1092 and then drops here back down to 1030 and then goes down to 1004. Now I had drawn this line at 990, which was sort of the pre-market support level. And then I had a pre-market resistance level up here at 12 right here. Now we ended up moving that up to 1237 or so, which was the high of this candle. But at the time, this morning, I was looking at resistance around 12 and support around 990. And so right here, we're coming down to 990. It looks like we're going to break. And then it surges up right here. Part of me was tempted to jump in this because I thought maybe this is the red to green move. But I was actually using the 10-second chart. But because this candle was so red, I just didn't feel like I could trust it yet. And I was still watching the 1-minute chart as well, and the 1 minute was not looking very good. So I left that alone. It pulls back a little bit more. It then does this kind of bear flag right here. It drops down to 990, hits a low of 982, and now it's breaking this support level, and it's bear flagging right above it, and then it drops down. And so at this point, I was kind of like, all right, well, I guess, you know, I guess this is it. I guess this isn't going to work. Oh, hang on one second. That's interesting. Let me just, no, it doesn't look like that's streaming. Hang on, I'm just going to change one of my stream settings here. Let's see. Stop. Sorry, guys, those of you who are watching. Okay. All right. I'm just going to copy paste this streaming key here. Okay, and oh, that's what it was. Okay, paste and paste. Okay. All right, so we'll get that back up and running here. So in any case, I might have to play with my settings there again. It looks like there might be some issue. So in any case, OPGN dips down here, drops to 962, and I'm thinking, all right, well, this is clearly weak. It's not holding up very well, so I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna leave it alone. And then it surges up here, right here, to 1038. It then pulls back for a second, and boom, that's where I jumped in. Because all of a sudden it turned around here. And so this, to me, I felt like kind of trapped short sellers because it had this drop and then all of a sudden it rips back up. So as it ripped back up, I watched it right here, and that's where I jumped in for a break over the VWAP, first 1 minute candle to make a new high on the 1 minute chart. So I'm in there. I actually tried to buy 9,000 shares. So to answer your question about managing risk on that type of trade, the way I managed the risk on that trade essentially was I focused on what I really believed was an A quality entry. I knew I wanted to focus on a red to green move. I felt that a red to green move would be lower risk than trying to do a breakout over high of day, for instance. If I bought a high of day break getting in with my entry at 1090, that would have been really extended. That would have been a really high place to be a buyer, and there's a really good chance that on that type of setup, it would have seen a potential false breakout, and I could have been in it at the high and getting stopped out, back down at 1030 or something like that. And that would be a 60-cent stop. That's way too much risk with 9,000 shares. That's a $4,500 plus loss. So I didn't want to take that type of risk. Instead, I bought the first 1 minute candle to make a new high here on this. This is like a 10-second chart, but this kind of like micro pullback right here at 1040. So that was the place that I jump in. We then get that quick, almost instant resolution. Now, if you're trading breakouts, the best breakouts will resolve almost instantaneously. I mean, they're just going to work right away. So you can see here, the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, in this case, was actually 1065. Now that would have been a little bit of a higher entry, especially considering it just dropped to a low of 960, right? So by using the 10-second chart on this one, I was able to really be watching the stock as it was making these kind of micro patterns. So, this is a stock that in the first 5 minutes traded 700,000 shares of volume. It was moving very quickly, obviously. And if I waited for 1 minute candles to form, I would have missed this opportunity. So we had the pullback, the pop up, the pullback, the false breakout to the short side, the rip back up to the VWAP, this little pullback, and then boom, I'm in right here. 6,000 shares. I only got a partial fill. It squeezes up to 1143, and I'm instantly up. Well, at the high, at the very, very high, it would have been up over $6,000, but I sold at 11 and right around 1090. So I locked up on this trade about $4,300 of profit. So up $4,000 right there. I then got back in, I think it was right here, and it surges up to 1165, and I added at 1160. I thought it was going to break right here up over $12, and I was wrong. It dropped back down here to 1134, and I actually stopped out at 1135 or 36, so I lost about 25 cents on 4,500 shares. So I had one winner, then I had one loser right in here. Now, in fact, this ended up coming back up to 70 and then popping up to 89, and so I kind of felt a little bit of FOMO. I was like, oh man, I stopped out, and then it rips right back up. But at the same time, with a 4,500 share entry, actually I might have gotten in on this candle right here. I think it was this one, because it popped at 65 and then I came back up on the second attempt and got in. And then it dropped back down to 34. And this could have just as easily come back down to 11, and then just like that, I'm in here and out here, and that could give back all the profit I made on the first trade. And so I cut the loss quickly, which was, I think, the right move. It then pulls back a little bit more here, as you can see. So now we're looking at the 5 minute chart, it's consolidation. Let's switch over now to the 1 minute chart on this side. All right, so it does a false breakout right here, and I didn't trade that. This I didn't trust. After this doji candle, I just left it alone. So it flushes down here, back down, bounces off 1050, and then surges back up to 1150. It then pulls back right here, consolidation, and as you can see, at this point, it breaks over. Now, 1150 was the spot I was watching, and that was during this green candle right here. But what I was hoping would happen, this was at 941 that this candle was forming. I was hoping that it would stay under this level until 945, and that the first 5 minute candle would be a break over 1150, and I would be a buyer at 1150 with a first target of 1189. That didn't happen. It broke prematurely to 1170. So what I ended up doing on this one was adding 4,500 shares as it broke here over high of day. So I took a trade for a break of high of day, and we broke 1189 and squeezed right up to 1237. So that was instant resolution of almost 50 cents per share on 4,500 shares, an extra $2,000 of profit. So, that was pretty much how the trades unfolded. It was 3 trades, 1 winner, 1 loser, and then a second winner right up here on a breakthrough high of day. And yeah, OPGN definitely was a higher risk stock. The trade that did go the wrong way was an instant 20-cent loss. So I gave back $1,000, and then, if I had been a little slower, it could have been a 50-cent loss. So no doubt the risk was higher on this. When I was trading with my $583 account, I'm not sure. I think I would have traded this because I would have been looking for volatility. It would have been in the top gappers. Obviously today it was the top gapper, leading gapper. But at the same time, I know that the stocks I was doing the best on were between $3 and $6, and as they start to get more expensive, the risk certainly starts to get higher, and the margin for error, if you get in at the wrong spot, you could be looking at potentially a catastrophic loss. So I might not have taken this type of trade on the first day, but I certainly would have taken the trade a little later in the month once I had a little bit of a cushion. So anyways, 11th consecutive green day here, 166th trading day of the year, and I'm sitting now up almost 10,000 on the month of September, which is great. So, coming right up here at my $10,000 weekly goal. We're continuing to see this nice hot streak. It's now been about a $65,000 hot streak for me over the last, 11, 12, 13, 14 days. So over the last 14 days, $65,000, and it doesn't really look like the hot streak is, is ending. We're continuing to see great momentum. OPGN and tops. This one is still holding up. It just came up here to 1189, and I would definitely say that if this breaks over 12, the spot that I'd be watching would be a possible squeeze up to 1238. So this may have, and a break at 1238, and then a move up to 13. So this may have a little bit more in it. On this type of pullback right now on 10-second chart, we can switch over to that real quick. We see this is pulling back. So the high was 1189, the low was 1142. So that's a big drop, right? Now watch this thing at 12. There's 1202. So we're seeing a little bit of resistance here at the $12 spot. This does have short sale restriction, which means if you want to short it, you've got to put an order on the ask. You have to short on an uptick. Now, this is tough because, it's all of a sudden at 12, then it's down 25 cents. This is a nice 5-minute setup down here. It doesn't seem quite yet. There's 6, there's 7, there's 10, a 19. It's a little bit of a sluggish breakout. There's 28. It's certainly not the instant squeeze up to 38 that I would have been expecting. Of course, at this time of day, 11:30, we're starting to get a little bit outside the window where you see really clean resolution because, some traders are just going to be a little bit more conservative. People like me who have made their money, they're gone for the day. This thing can go to $15. It doesn't matter. I already made my $6,000. Big seller comes out. You can see that seller that just popped up in the 20s or wherever that was. So the halt level is at 1287. The high of day is 1250. Even though it's moving up, this is what I would consider to be a little bit of a choppy move because it's, you can see these candles on the 10-second chart whipping around a bit. So you've got a lot of volatility here. This, to me, 12 would have been the obvious place to buy, but it didn't really produce a clean breakout because it dropped to 1168, 32 cents before ripping up. So it does one last fake out, fakes you out, and then it rips up. So that makes it really hard to buy breakouts because you don't want to be down 40 cents to only be up 20, 30 cents. I mean, yes, this did go up 50 cents at the high, but still, that's not ideal. So would I consider buying at 12.50? And in this case, I really wouldn't, because the risk of buying at 12.50 is that it drops back down to 12 before it rips. And then I'm down 50 cents. And what if it drops to 12 and then it breaks 12 and flushes to 11.50? Now I'm down $1 per share when the profit target was only 20 cents. It's not really lining up. Can't take that trade. I need A quality setups. What we have here on the 5-minute is also now it's a double top. So we had a nice little break of VWAP, a pullback. I'm kind of surprised that this resolved as well as it did, but probably some short sellers covering and traders jumping into the long side. So what we really need now is the handle formation. So a handle of a cup is formed by a flag pattern of consolidation going sideways. So that would be the next level that I would look at. Anyway, so that's it for me. I'm gonna take the profit and live to trade another day. Be back at it tomorrow. Always feeling better about leaving money on the table than giving back profit. So I'm finishing today at the highs. That last trade on the breakout from 11.89 or so up to 12.38 was the last trade, the last $2,000, and that was a nice one. All right, everyone. I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning, and we'll hopefully keep this hot streak going through the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.